At the head of his score of the triumph of peace, Eric Ball places a quotation from St. Matthew's Gospel. They that take the sword shall perish with the sword. The occasion is the betrayal and arrest of Jesus in the very garden where he had just prayed to his heavenly Father that he might be spared the crucifixion ahead of him, yet accepted the divine will. This reading is from Matthew's account. While Jesus was still speaking, Judas came, one of the 12, and with him a great crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I shall kiss is the man. Seize him." And he came up to Jesus at once and said, "Hail, Master." And he kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, why are you here?" Then they came up and laid hands on Jesus and seized him. And behold, one of those that were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest and cut off an ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword." The Prince of Peace is being roughly handled. Somebody, John tells us it was Peter, cuts off an ear. Violence. We too live in a violent world, a world of my rights, injustice, anger and extremism. In his wilderness temptations, Jesus was offered an earthly crown. There have been, of course, benevolent rulers backed by power. Dictatorship was not to be his way. He came to show and perpetuate a reign of love, which involved suffering, and for his followers the same. The Bible tells us that this will pass. Sorrow, tears will be no more. Many hearing this brief message will know of this way of love. It is not popular. It is regarded by many as weak. The turn cheek, praying for your enemies, but the divine word has not altered. World War I was meant to be a war to end wars. That was the hope. It didn't happen. A land fit for heroes. It didn't happen. This message is not about pacifism or just wars, or about the ordinary people who get caught up. Sometimes a nation has no options. It's just that somehow the old power struggles creep back. Even in families and personal relationships there can be animosity. The way of love, says Jesus, acceptance, forgiveness. The poet John Oxenham expresses his thoughts, to which Eric Ball added music, and which becomes a theme in the triumph of peace. Oh, shall we never learn the truth that all time has taught, that without God as architect our building comes to naught? Lord, help us and inspire our hearts and lives, that we may build with all thy wondrous gifts a kingdom meet for thee. Peace in our time, O Lord, to all the people, peace. Peace that shall build a glad new world and make for life's increase. O living Christ, who still dost all our burdens share, come now and dwell within the hearts of all men everywhere. I draw attention to the climactic line, come now and dwell within the hearts of all men everywhere. This is a fine general prayer. Perhaps we can make it more specific and personal. Let it begin with me.